Good morning, friends, and another day to heal. I'm Steve, and my interests, for the most part, are consciousness and healing, and the rest of it, is just kind of minor distractions that are entertaining, like reading books or gathering information about consciousness and healing. So today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to open up a field specifically for a person who's working with some really big energies. And these energies then we're going to be working with the same event that we're going back to help her to release and integrate. And I have a feeling she only does large events, so I have a feeling it's going to be useful for all of us to go back to this event. It's probably an event that affected all of us, some major flood or volcano or continent dropping into the water or something. A lot of things have happened here. So I'd ask you to state these words out loud. I choose to connect to my deep self. Choose to connect to my higher self. I choose to connect to my highest self. Sometimes if I find that a little difficult, I know that it's because my crown chakra is a little closed up. I can connect to my higher self without that being open, but if I want to connect to my highest self, my crown chakra has to be open. So that's an indication that it's not. So I just make note of that. I don't try to change it. If I notice this starts opening up, then I go, okay. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth, and I open myself to the healing power of the One, and I let go of anything no longer useful to me. And if you want assistance from the seventh dimensional beings, the Hathors, that will assist you with vibration and sound, then you can state, I choose to work with the Hathors. I choose to open a healing field within the world healing field, a field within a field. And ask that all the beings and all the helpers and guides please be present within this field. And I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. And I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls to return to the event, to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And I ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. Upon arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay, there went a big wave of grief. So you may have felt that. And you may have noticed something but didn't correlate it to what it was. And so if you were feeling the same thing I just felt, that was a big wave of grief. Yeah. Okay, there's not going to be okay, we'll talk about it for a little bit while you're working with these energies. So if you want to just work with the energies, your soul is back at the event. I'll be doing some closing remarks in a bit, but you can hit the pause button now if you want to just work with these energies yourself, and can come back and hit the start button when you feel like you're done working with the energies and may want to hear what I talked about. So I'm going to ask Arlen to come in and help me work with these energies that we're all working with. So Arlen's going to help me helping you help yourself. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. I'll see you the whole time because I can still watch out the eyes. I just have to be careful not to jump in and start talking. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about today is the effect of our presence. So when Stephen requests that I come in and help him with the energetics he's working with, what that involves is my bringing an aspect of my being into the body, and then looking out from the body, from a state of being, and then noticing what's going on in the body, and helping to both describe the energetics and also help to demonstrate some easier ways to work with these energies, easier than resisting them. Because that's why we end up with these energies for long periods of time, is because we resist feeling them. We attempt to make ourselves feel like we're not feeling them. We tend to blame it on food or whatever. We tend to find a reason why we're having these feelings rather than be with the feeling. And one doesn't have to be with the feeling for a long period of time. One can just be with the feeling, really recognize that feeling, describe it to yourself if you want to, but recognize that feeling, and then one can either just let it go, or one can take it in. Both letting it go and taking it in involve releasing and integrating the energies of it. Because once you've released the energy off an event, then it's just an experience. While you have the experience and the unresolved energies of the experience, then that is described as a trauma or an overwhelming event. They're basically the same thing. So here I have an actual trauma that I just pulled from the body to use as a representation of an overwhelming event. And you might be able to feel that right here. And if you imagine yourself holding this event, so you took this event out of the chest and you put it in front of yourself inside of your hands, and then you realize what that event starts doing to your arms. You can start feeling that pain in your arms. Now, one of the things that you can do, the one thing that I've shown before, is you keep the story in one hand and the emotions in the other hand, and you simply separate them to the full width of your reach. And when you reach out to the very edge, you feel them separate, and then you let go of the emotion. And notice it come out of your arms as well as your hand, because it was going all the way up into the shoulder. And then you release the story. And then you notice if a change has taken place. So that's one way to do it. And this is a way we've taught Stephen, and he's used this not quite enough for it to become more habitual, where he just does it. And he does it again. And he does it again. That's when it becomes very useful, because when it becomes habitual, when it becomes a go-to, then it's available to you all the time. Like, oh, I feel this way. Oh, this is this. Oh, there's the story. Oh, there's the emotions. Separate them out. Release the emotions. Release the story. Repeat, repeat, repeat. There's real prickly energy that's been coming out today for Stephen, and he's been kind of feeling it, thinking about it. You know, took a cleansing bath with Epsom salts related to pulling toxins out if there's toxins that are causing that prickly feeling. And he's taken that cleansing bath, and here he is setting up to do a video. And he's feeling that prickly feeling. So what we're going to do is we're just going to imagine that we can. So the first thing, you need to have a good imagination to do these things you haven't done before. So you have to imagine doing them. So we're going to imagine gathering up all these prickly feelings into a hand bucket. There's all those prickly feelings that were in or around the body, causing all that prickly sensation. And now with them gathered up in the hand bucket, one might feel that prickliness in the hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the story, move it to the side, energies, move them to the side. We're just going to do this again. Get it as far away, energies come off, story comes off. Then we're going to gather any of those energies that are left, and we're going to gather them up above, and we're going to bring them right through the crown chakra. And now there's this, and this is the way it'll frequently happen, because when you're paying attention, when you have your awareness on your body and what it's feeling, and you resolve the energies of one thing, then what may rise to the surface are other energies. And it may be related to the same thing, just different energies related to the same thing. So we've gone back to events. So we're working with these energies of an event. And the part of ourself that needs to resolve these energies of this event is the aspect of our self that we refer to as the soul. So this is a soul cleansing process, a release and integrate of an event that we experienced on a soul level and didn't resolve afterwards. So now it's the time to resolve that. So to understand it, there's the energy of the event that's typically off to the right, and then there's the energy of the event that you're experiencing that is oftentimes inside of you, but we're holding it outside of you, so you can have a bit more perspective that this is an energy. When you have it inside you, that you might say, this is my energy, this is what I'm feeling, this is mine. And then you have sort of I know what the psychological profile is, say, an attachment disorder. You have an attachment disorder to the energy of this event because you've had the energy of this event, since it took place. And now on a soul level, you're back at this event. And so both releasing it and integrating it on a soul level, but you're also releasing it and integrating it on an energetic level of the body, because it held the energies of that event. So we're going to take the energies out of that event, and we're going to just place them in the crown chakra and release them through the central canal. Now, if you were doing this with me and you were feeling the energies that were held here and feeling the energies that were at the event, then when you release these energies through the crown, through the pranic tube, central canal, toroidal center, you felt it also release in the event. And now the crown chakra is very open, and the center of your being, your deep self, which is the center of your being, you may imagine yourself outside of that, but when you're not imagining yourself outside of it, you are imagining yourself inside of it. And when you're inside of it, you're feeling that piece of the deep self, which is just there. Where this aspect of yourself, the deep self, exists is in the center of the pranic tube, which is the center of peace, calm, well-being, and radiates that out. Now, you will sometimes relate to that when you see Stephen go down in, and then I enter with the consciousness that I carry. And that consciousness that I carry is the consciousness of that deep self. So when I come in, interact with the deep self within this body, and then together we begin, we just do this anyway, but it's a radiation of the energy of peace that just goes out from us continuously. So that begins to change things, and you might ask, well, why doesn't it change things when we're in the body and we have a deep self? Why isn't the deep self continually changing us? Because there is a holding on and there is a letting go. And so if this peace is radiating out, it only radiates out as far as the protective portion of ourself allows it to. So there's this identity which is attempting to be in control of our experience, which it really can't do, but it can affect things in particular ways. And when it's holding on to something, even if you have this deep well of peace at the center of your being, if you're in this alarm reaction, do you think that you're feeling this deep well of peace? So part of what your mission here on the planet is to become more identified as that deep self, that deep well of peace, being brought and radiated continuously in the world. And more, this becomes who you are as you let go of the things, the energies that you're not. I know that it seems a very simple process, and it is a very simple process. You have the story in one hand, you have the emotions in the other. You separate them. Let go of the emotions, let go of the story. You may be able to remember the story later, it just has no emotions, so you won't necessarily be telling the story unless you're telling about this thing you got over, and then you might use the story as an example of one of the things that you got over. Now, currently, Steve is in his deep self, and from that place, aware of the effect of that attention on the deep self and the effect it has on the various energetics of the body. And these energetics that, one may begin to feel while remaining in that deep self, one may begin to feel this prickly fear. So we're going to do this a different way. We're going to feel the bottom of our feet, and this is I know this is the hands, but we're going to imagine this is the bottom of the feet. In the bottom of the feet are these chakras, we'll make them look more like feet, are these chakras that are called the grounding chakra. That opens the right one, that opens the left one. Now there's more grounding going on, and even though you stated, I connect to the healing center of the earth, partly in the process of going back to the event, you may have contracted down a little bit, or just the movement of energies, you wanted to keep the energies from moving too much, so you kind of contracted those energies and held them a bit. But now you've opened them up, and now you can feel that movement in the center of your being, in your deep self, your pranic tube, in your toroidal center. You can feel that energy moving all the way to the healing center of the earth. Your feet may begin tingling. The head area is beginning to tingle. This crown chakra is opening up more. And so there's more of this cosmic energy coming through the center, beginning more life and space in the area of the deep self. And as that increases in space, in size, in your imagination, you can feel yourself getting bigger inside, and that getting bigger inside pushes these other energies a little more to the side. And as those energies are pushed a little more to the side, they go into the flow And so they can be pushed to the side like this. This is just another way. As they are pushed to the side, they get into the flow of the energy and they just start flowing out through the right foot and through the right hand. And they go all the way down to the healing center of the earth, and they just become energies, just moving energies. Now they're moving up the left side, moving down the right side, moving up the left side, moving down the right side, moving up the left side. Same with the hands. If you want to use that energy flow that's happening in the hands, you can just direct it to an area. Right now we're going to direct it to the heart. So just no particular position of the hands, just wherever they feel right to you. You just put them where they feel right or correct. Because it's actually, they'd be feeling left if you're over the heart. If you're over the heart in the center, that would still be there. And if that feels like a better position right there in the center, then you just hold your hands there. But just feel that all that energy moving, moving, moving. And then it releases. Okay, so I'm going to say the words that we ask the interdimensional being, Thoth Ra, the deep self, the higher self, soul ray group. We ask all those beings to help the souls that return to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into their body in present time with all of its wisdom, power, clarity, compassion, curiosity, and kindness. And bring that soul, combined soul, back into the body through the center of your being, down to the ground yourself. I ask all the souls to ground themselves to the healing center of the earth and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies that we have agreed to bring into the earth at this time. And we ask that these new energies be brought in, and they'll come in directly through the crown chakra, through you into the earth, as well as through the portal. And then we ask that they be activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that it's good. Okay, that's the healing session for today, and may it serve you well. And more than likely, we'll see you tomorrow. Be well.